Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me tonight. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint a horse with acrylic paints. I'm going to keep it very simple. I've got this reference photo here that I got off Pixabay, but we're going to change it up a little bit and make it a little bit more kind of impressionist and simplified for beginners. I've got my husband Mark with me tonight.
Hey there, everybody.
He's going to be manna in chat for us, so if you've got any questions during the live show, you can post those. And we have a special guest in our studio today. My cousin is here. Can you say hi?
Hi.
That's Genevieve. She's going to be watching while we paint. So let's get started. Okay, so this is my reference photo. I'm going to go ahead and do it long ways tonight on my canvas, and I went ahead and kind of prepped by sketching it out a little bit just to make it a little bit faster for us. And I'll go over our palette really quick. Okay. I've got just several brushes in different sizes set aside, but we're going to be using titanium white, unbleached titanium, burnt sienna, quinacridone magenta, cadmium red medium, cadmium yellow medium, yellow oxide, phthalo green yellow shade, phthalo blue green shade, ultramarine blue. This is dioxazine purple. This is carbon black and burnt umber. You can use a variety of whatever colors you have. You don't have to have these exact same ones, but I'll be showing you how to mix a few colors so as we go along. All right, and then let me go over our brushes just real quick. I'm going to use kind of a large flat for the background and then sort of a variety of flats and maybe one of these Filberts, possibly one of these angle brushes for some of the hairs. And then I've got a variety of rounds in different sizes and some smaller brushes for details. So these are all my Princeton 6100 series. And if you are looking for any of these materials that I'm using tonight, the links are down in the description to my Amazon page where you can buy those, and also the brush guides where you can get the brushes. So, all right, let's get started. Let me show you how I drew it, and I think I'm going to go ahead and paint it in while I show you how to draw it, kind of outline it, and I'll use my round brush, and let's use some of this burnt sienna here. Be a good kind of sketch color. Now water it down a little bit. And so what I did was figured out kind of how I wanted to place the horse on my canvas, and I went ahead and just went ahead and put him right smack dab in the middle, so we had room for his hair to come off this way, and I'm really not worried about his body. It's just going to be kind of fading into the background here, but the focal point is going to be right here in the middle, and then his eye is going to hit right on our third. So if you kind of split your canvas into 3 parts this way and 3 parts this way, that eye is going to be right there in that top upper third. So that might give you kind of a starting point. And then I just kind of, let's see, I guess he's kind of fitting, if you split it up into 4 parts up this way, so 1, 2, 3, 4, so the middle part would be right down the middle of the forehead, and then right on either side of the quarter mark is where the outside of the ears are. So, and I started really high up on my canvas. This is a 9 by 12 inch panel that's pre-gessoed, so it's ready to go. So the ears are kind of a teardrop shape. I went ahead and found a picture where the horse's ears are facing forward because I like that a little bit better than the side view that is on my reference photo. So you can, here, I'll hold it off to the side. I don't know if you can see that in there, but so I started out kind of angle it down a little bit and then back in, and then it comes to a point right here and kind of comes almost straight down and then out and then back in. So there's our little horse ear. Point out and back in, and I'm going to kind of do this very sketchy tonight. So I'm going to want it to be kind of very fluid and sketchy feeling. And I'm going to do the background before I do the hair. So I'm not going to draw in any of the hairs on the mane there. The back starts right about where that ear curves in, is where that back kind of angles out this way and down. And if you measured halfway here, it's just below the quarter mark on this side here. Okay. Then if you take from the ear, and the ear, kind of the top of the head does kind of an arc right here like this between the ears, and then it angles out this way on either side. This side is going to be covered up with hair, so we're not going to see it too much, but this is all going to be hair coming around that side there. But this side is visible, so we're going to come out this way kind of sharply, and then we're going to come straight down just about, all right? And then we're going to have kind of a curved line for where the eye goes. And then the eye is a oval shape, so it's like right there, like that. And it kind of continues down and does like a little teardrop shape down here. Okay?
Real quick,
yes.
What size brush are you using there?
This is the number 4 round.
Number 4 round,
yeah.
okay.
But you can use whatever size you'd like. All right, then you come out from the edge of the eye, come in just a little bit, and then continue down, almost straight down. It kind of curves out a little bit, and then back in where the cheek is. And if you measured from here to here, and then measure again from here to here, it curves in just a little bit before that mark there. So curves in just like that, and then it angles in there. So then I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to try to kind of figure out where this might be under here. It's going to be somewhere in there. And then I'm going to angle in right there for his cheeks. And then there's another line that kind of comes in like that. And it actually kind of angles down from the eye. It's sort of, if you figured out where these 2 eyes were going to be, well, this one would be a little bit higher there. That's where that line kind of comes down from. So might help you. And then these curve out and do kind of a box shape here almost. Angles out and then back in, and then this is almost straight flat right there. And that's our basic horse. I don't know, that looks bad right there. This is all going to get covered up, so don't worry about that. That eye that's way too low right there. All right, and then the nostrils are going to fit right in here.
Is he kind of conscious about that eye? That's why he's got it covered up.
He's got, well, he shouldn't worry about it.
Okay.
Okay, so the eye is going to be up there. We'll go ahead and put it in right there. We might be able to see a little bit of it. And then the side of the body is coming down like right about here, like you're seeing a little bit of that, and then it curves in, and there's a little bit of a neck that comes from, actually it's a little bit below where that curves in right there. And what is that noise? It's popping. The speakers are popping. Let me, I wonder if I need to turn them off.
Okay.
You got it? Okay. All right, so I'm going to switch to a little bit larger brush now. We'll do our background behind the horse, and then we can put the hair on top. And I think I'm just going to do some random colors. We'll do the background in the reference photo is this kind of golden colors with like a little bit of blue and some green down here. So we'll just kind of mimic that a little bit. So I'm going to grab that Unbleached Titanium, and we're just going to slap it on up here.
Be arm cam here in a second.
What?
I'm going to get arm cam as after
Okay,
I reach in
do
there.
it. Well, I was going to do that. I thought you could do it from your side. Okay. Mark's in.
I didn't do my nails.
Go get out of here.
What?
You're such a diva. All right, grab my...
you know it's all about me.
yellow oxide here. And I'm going to streak in some of that color there and put it in the background around my horse. I'm not really worried at all about the ears or the outline there. We're just going to kind of fill up this background. This background is going to be very sort of impressionist. So lots of brush strokes. The whole thing, I think I really wanted like brush strokes and have it be kind of sketchy, like feeling. I don't know. So I'm grabbing a little bit more of that burnt sienna here. Let's streak some of that in back here. Maybe. What are you laughing at?
Lily said that she saw my hand.
Lily?
Lily, yep.
Happy birthday, Lily. That little brush Lily?
Little brush Lily.
Happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah.
What?
She had her birthday this
A special birthday present there.
week. I know.
My hand.
Oh, okay. You're welcome, Lily. All right, adding a little bit of cadmium red here. Just kind of add a little bit of interesting colors back here. And I'm going to go ahead and go right up to the head, even though I know most of this is going to have hair covering it. It'll give us some kind of fun colors back there. And then I'm going to mix some Ultramarine Blue. And if you notice, I grab a little bit of color and then I pull it over to a spot that's clean on my palette paper. And that's just so that I don't make a big mess out of my colors and they'll stay clean a little bit longer for me. So mixing the Ultramarine Blue with that burnt umber, or Ultramarine Blue, sorry. And I'm going to mix those in there. And I actually need a little bit of white. What?
You just do your painting stuff.
Okay. Ultramarine Blue. Genevieve painted with me today. She got to do some flowers. That was fun. Didn't we? Oh, she's listening over there with Mark.
Yeah, she's going to decide that she wants to be the audio video technician instead of the artist.
I like it. Yeah. I like it. She's got some skills.
Yeah.
All right, and then we'll get some, I'm going to clean that out. We'll get some phthalo green, and I'll mix that a little bit of that with that burnt umber brown mix. A little bit of white. And that brown and ultramarine blue mixture creates a really lovely kind of gray blue you see there. So, and that mixed with that green is really pretty too. So we'll just mix that together right there. Maybe grab some of that yellow even from the sky and put it down here.
So,
and I'm just doing kind of like X's and small, short, choppy brush strokes. So yours doesn't have to look like mine. You know, just kind of do it however makes you happy. There we go. What were you saying, hon?
I was going to say hello to everybody.
Oh, yes, hello. I know, we just jumped right in.
I know, you just took off.
I did. Well, I'm trying to get it done fast because we've got company today, so.
All right, well, thanks if you're joining us for the first time. Welcome to the channel. You can hit the subscribe button to see more of Angela's videos and the like if you're liking this horse painting. Check out all the other YouTube videos that she's got down there.
You can visit by clicking on my name or my photo. It'll take you to my channel.
Yep. And down below, there's links to all the social media, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, did you put your Snapchat down there yet?
Nope, I haven't.
No. Yeah, we're
my Snapchat, quote unquote. Well, I guess I do have my own Snapchat.
Yeah, you have your own Snapchat.
I've used my Snapchat so much that I forgot that I had a Snapchat. when I logged in to try to start a new Snapchat page, it said that one was already taken, and I was like, you know what? I think I might have done that already. So,
that might be me.
That might be me.
she was like, oh, that's taken too.
I know.
What? Oh, man.
So funny. Okay, I do not like that green up there that I just did, so I'm going to wipe that off. Did not like that at all. And I'm going to grab that red again. Put that back in there. That green and the red was not dry yet, so the green was making a brown with it. It just was turning it muddy. So you got to be careful that when you're mixing these colors, you know, when I'm going from one color to another, I'm always kind of aware of how they're going to mix with one another. So these, you know, these ones that are like, I've laid them out next to each other on as they kind of appear on the color wheel on purpose, because that way I know that they'll mix well with one another. So just makes it easier when I'm grabbing color. And then it's a good habit to get into, just to kind of remind yourself, because that red and green are opposite on the color wheel, and so they will make a brown. Make a neutral color, we don't want that. All right, I think that's good. So we've got kind of fun colors back there in our background. Might add a little bit of lighter color right in here. There's some sort of a lighter thing happening in our... Okay, that looks good. And then let's grab some brown here. Maybe a little bit of phthalo blue. So burnt umber and a little bit of phthalo blue this time. And I'm going to add it to my horse down here. On the outside of the face, we're going to make the body back here kind of dark.
We're just having our own party over here. Don't worry about us.
I heard you talking over there.
We just went over 300 viewers right now.
Ooh, so nice. Okay, got some burnt sienna here. Add in some of that. Just going to do some kind of neutral colors here. We'll probably add brighter colors over the top, but we're going to start out with some darker colors, kind of neutrals, and we'll add. All right, some more burnt sienna here. And this horse is kind of a dun color. It's like a gray-brown. So trying to get that. It's going to have some golden tones, but mostly kind of gray-browns. Let's use what we've got here, and we'll start filling in the middle part of the nose. This ultramarine blue. This has got phthalo blue, burnt umber, and a little bit of burnt sienna, and now I've added the unbleached titanium. So it's kind of a mix. It really can't go wrong. Just, you know, just do kind of a light neutral gray brown here. So it doesn't have to be exactly the same color as mine. Let's grab a little bit more of the burnt sienna here and do a little bit of that on that cheek under the eye there. I'm going to kind of fill it in sort of sections. So this side over here is going to be more the warmer tones, so maybe grab some of the yellows and things, because the light's hitting the horse on this side. There's still some light, you know, shining back on this side as well, but so we'll do some like shadow tones on this side, I think, and do some warmer colors on this side. So maybe some cooler blues on this side as we get going. That's the idea, at least. We'll see how it works. Okay, so grabbing just the light ultramarine blue, or the unbleached titanium. I don't know why I'm going to call that ultramarine blue tonight. Not even close. Okay, so there we go there. Just kind of filling it in, and I'm sort of leaving some of those lines as I work. So let's move to a little bit smaller brush now so we can get a little bit smaller detail. So I think I'm going to use my Filbert number 4. And let's mix some of this gray with this is this color that we used over here in this background. So it's the Ultramarine Blue and Burnt Umber, and then I'm adding the Unbleached Titanium to it. So we'll use that up here on our horse on this side. That'll give us those gray-blue colors on this side. And I'm going to use it under the eye. What do you think so far, Genevieve? Is this like what you thought it was going to be watching the show live? Was it what you pictured? Yeah, she came all the way from Arizona to see us paint.
we kicked out the rest of her family and just kept her here for the show.
All of her 6 siblings, or her five siblings. Yeah, 6. Mm-hmm. The hell went away, but she got to stay.
We do have a question when you're ready.
Okay. This was I mixed some more of that darker gray, the Ultramarine Blue and Burnt Umber here for this hair. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, Cindy would like to know that since they don't have Burnt Umber, could they use Burnt Sienna and the purple and blue to get the same darkish colors?
I would use Burnt Sienna and black. Yeah, for Burnt Umber. Because the Burnt Umber doesn't really have the purpley tones. It's more of a black brown. Let me look and see on the thing if it says how it's mixed. Iron oxide containing manganese, so it's its own color. But I would think a little bit of black with the Burnt Sienna would probably do something similar. So let's grab a little bit more here, and we're going to put in some darker tones right where that hair is coming down. And I'm kind of working through that wet paint there. And then I'm going to pull some up. And I'm just setting my brush down and kind of flicking it so that it's creating these kind of hair shapes, and using the corner of my brush, not the full side. I'm not pulling this way. I'm turning it on its edge so that it's creating some lines for me. Okay, let's fill in our ears with some dark color inside there. This is just Burnt Umber pretty much. And the nice thing about this kind of painting is that you don't really have to be super careful. I'm kind of going outside my lines a little bit, more sloppy than I might normally be. So it's a little bit freer way of painting. I'm holding my brush a little bit farther back on its handle so that I kind of get some softer lines and things. And I'm going to grab some of that black now. I'm going to put some black lines, some really dark areas in here in this hair. And we'll put some highlights on top, but we need that black in there to give us some contrast when we put our lighter hairs on top. And then let's put a little bit on the inside of our ear. Here's my picture right there. Okay. It's a different color horse, but it'll have similar. I'm looking at the hairs and kind of how they're pointing and stuff. So
you're starting to whisper.
I'm starting to whisper? Sorry. Okay, I'll stop whispering. I do that when I'm thinking. Okay, Burnt Sienna, adding to that black that I had on my brush. Just making some really dark shadow areas there. And then let's use that Ultramarine Blue and brown in the nose. The nose shape makes this kind of, it's almost like a upside down L. See, like that and that. His nose is kind of closed. Sometimes you'll see horses where their nostrils kind of expand, depending on, if they're breathing real heavy. So sometimes you might see the nostrils real flared out, but this guy was kind of resting, so he was happy eating some hay in his field there.
He's kind of chill.
Yeah, he's just chilling, chillaxing. All right, making some gray with my white, mixing some white in there with this color. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of water every now and then. If you're starting to see that the paint's not sticking very well, or if it's just not like going onto the canvas smoothly, you may need to pick up a little bit of more water. A lot of times that happens if as you paint for a while, your paints are plenty moist, but your brush starts to get dry and it just doesn't want to.
So which brush did you switch to?
This is the number 4 Filbert. Okay, grabbing a little bit more of that lighter color. I'm going to grab some white here, and I'm going to put a highlight right there, coming down over the nose in that wet paint. So it's that gray's wet, and I'm just kind of blending over the top of that layer between. Now I had too much paint on my brush, so it kind of did some color right there where I didn't want it. So I'm just going to wipe it all off. I'm not bothering cleaning it out. I'm just wiping it off a little bit and grab some white, and I'm going to blend from that light color down into the dark. And see how that kind of blends over? Creates a soft blend right there between those colors. And then I'm going to grab a little bit of that light Unbleached Titanium. I don't know why I keep calling it this light ultramarine blue tonight. It's kind of... Okay, there we go. So we got a nice blend there. Let's use a little bit of this highlight color down here on the bottom of his muzzle. This is that light color. And I'm just kind of brushing it over. That gray is still wet, so I'm just working very quickly with this one. If your paint's dried already on you, what you can do is grab some of that gray, lay it down first, and then put a little bit of that color over the top again, so you don't have to do it all as quickly as I'm doing here. Let's grab some of that gray again, that blue gray that we mixed, and we're going to put it right here in the center of his forehead. He's got this blaze right here that's right smack dab in the middle of the two eyes. And it's going to look really weird. And you're going to get to this point in your painting and think you're doing it all wrong. And it looks terrible, but you just have to keep on working through it and realize that, you know, it may not look exactly like you want it to the first time you sit down to paint. You know, I've been painting for about 30 years, so I'm going to make it look easier than it probably will be for you, and that's normal. You're not gonna, doesn't mean you don't have enough talent to do it, or that you're not doing it right. It's just going to take a little bit of practice to get comfortable with using. It's just like if I sat down to try to play the piano right now, I'm not going to be able to do a very good job right at first. You know, it's going to take some practice, and that's just completely normal. So anybody can learn to paint. Just takes some persistence and a little bit of know-how. That's my job, is to hopefully kind of encourage you to stick with it and try something new. Okay, so I put down that gray, and then now I'm grabbing that Unbleached Titanium, and I'm kind of softening it up so it's blending into the other colors a little bit that's around already on this horsey of ours. Okay. And I want some dark color over here. Let's grab some Phthalo blue and burnt sienna. And that makes a really pretty teal color. We'll use that in some of our shadows on this side of our horse. So he's got a really dark area around his eye here. So I'm going to go ahead and use this color around his eye. Maybe a little bit up here. Might not be that dark, so I'm going to grab a little bit of Unbleached Titanium. And okay, you're going to be like, you're putting a green on a horse? What is going on? What is happening? He's going to be pretty unconventional colors here, so just to warn you. Now, you can stick to the golds and browns if you want to, but we're going to add a little pop of some other colors in here, the blues and different ones. So that. Grabbing the burnt umber. I've got burnt sienna and a little bit of the unbleached titanium, a little bit of the yellow oxide here. And I'm just going to go ahead and fill in the rest of his body. And I still have that green on there, so it's kind of tinting it a little bit. Creating some interesting colors happening. Oxide and white, or Unbleached Titanium, I mean, here. Again, not being super careful. I kind of went over the eye there. That's okay. I'll fix it. I'm going to grab some brown, and there's like a little shadow right here that comes down the neck.
Looks like this horse was in that paint festival they have over in India or whatever.
Oh, the one that's in India over here. Is that what you're talking about?
Yep.
You might have been. Okay, grabbing some of that ultramarine blue and brown. And he's got a nice dark shadow that happens right here. And then there's another dark shadow on this side. And then that middle part is still a little bit darker than we have it. So I'm going to add some more. And I'm just using that edge of my brush to create some lines in this paint. So let's go ahead and, there we go, fill in the eye. And then I'm going to use a little bit of the white with that gray color. A little bit more brown. There we go. Might even want a little bit of black. Let's put a little bit more on this muzzle here. A little bit darker right here.
Okay, Kim wants to know, can you use Yupo paper with acrylics? Yupo. I don't even know what it is.
It's something you use with like well, it's a very slick paper. Let me grab some purple here and that ultramarine blue, and I'm going to use that in my nostrils there and make it really dark and just add a little bit of purple. Okay. And then let's do some down here too. Maybe a little bit in my eye. And up in here. Sorry, I know I'm whispering again. Yeah. I know. Okay. I'm not sure. I don't use Yupo paper, so you'd have to look online. I know it doesn't adhere. Like it's very slick, so but you can use it with watercolors and things and alcohol inks, so I wouldn't see why not. But don't quote me because I'm not sure. I've never used it, so. Okay, adding some of this dark purple color down in here to the hair, and I'm just setting it down and sweeping out, creating these fuzzy lines for the mane. And these are all of our background colors here. I'm going to grab some of this green as well. And this hair is going to come down like this. And then this hair is coming out and sweeping out like this. I like this horse. He's really pretty, isn't he? Okay. I think we're looking pretty good. Let's grab some of this green color, and I'm going to add a little bit of the burnt umber to it and add some of this hair up along the back, his mane, right there. And we are going to blend that out, so don't worry, it's going to happen. It's just I'm leaving it for now. I'm going to let it dry. All right, I think.
Do you know what you're doing here?
Pretty good.
I mean, I think you're.
I'm just making it up.
Yeah, what's in your glass there? Just wondering.
Well, like I said, we're making them kind of colorful, different colors, a little bit unexpected colors. I'm going to add some of this darker color around the outside on the body. And then grab some of that yellow. Use the yellow oxide and the burnt umber together and create like a dark yellow brown right there. Right up under the cheek. There we go. Very pretty. Okay. And then he's actually got some of that lighter color that kind of peeks in right here on his body. There we go. Okay, let's use some of this yellow on the muzzle right here. Maybe a little bit over here. I need to clean my brush out because it's got too much of that browns in it still. Okay, so I'm going to use my palette knife and I'm going to do some texture on our horse. Grab a little bit of the yellow oxide and a little bit of that unbleached titanium. Maybe a little bit of the gray blue color as well. There we go. I want it fairly light. And you could use a credit card for this if you don't have a palette knife. I'm just going to lay it down. I don't have a lot of paint on here. I've just kind of smushed it down so it's sort of evenly distributed on here. And I'm just going to kind of drag it and let it catch on the texture of my horse. See that? Creating some highlights on him.
Susan wants to know, can you use yellow ochre in place of yellow oxide?
Yes, yes, you can. They're very, very similar.
Hey, it's your painting. You can make it whatever you want.
That's right.
Use whatever colors you want.
Okay. Let's use some of this up on the nose and the muzzle.
The speculation's already started in chat.
Is it?
Will there be splatters?
The speculation is happening, huh?
I think the Vegas betting lines are open right now.
I love it. I love it. We could do splatters. You know, you can twist my arm. I'm not opposed to that.
Have you done splattering before?
Once or twice.
Once or twice. Kind of tried it.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Did you inhale?
All right. I'm ignoring you.
I don't blame you. I would too.
Burnt Sienna, Quinacridone Magenta here. It's making kind of a rusty red color. Let's use some of that in the main here. I've switched to an angle brush. It'll give me nice good points on my lines. So see how nice those lines happen. So I'm going to press that flat so that I get a good straight edge on that brush. And I'm just going to draw my lines, and actually if I want them thinner I can go this way so that they even come out like that. See, this is my highlight side, so I'm going to use some of these red colors out here. Okay, like that. Let's put a little bit on the top of his body up here too. Maybe.
I wonder if this horse just dyed his hair like that just to make the parents upset. Going through that rebellious phase.
You think so?
Yeah.
adding cadmium yellow medium. You notice how much I'm ignoring you tonight. moving along.
It's no different than any other normal night.
That's true. That's true.
It's kind of like reality TV.
Yeah. Okay. This is cadmium yellow mixed in with that red, Quinacridone Magenta. I'm just going to create these kind of golden highlights. And you can see how important that darker layer is now underneath, because it's now we've got this dark layer under these golden colors that are just wouldn't show up otherwise. I'm setting it down and just kind of drawing out. They get kind of longer right here. So this one kind of comes out, like this area in the middle here comes out a little bit longer. And then they sort of taper back closer to the muzzle right here. There's some hairs back here too. Let's add a little bit of this color on the body of the horse. And maybe a little bit up in here. I like that kind of glow that it has. What a pretty color. Let's add a little bit of it. I'm going to mix a little bit of the Unbleached Titanium with it. And put a little bit of the highlight on the ears. I'm just using the edge of the brush and drawing it down. It'll create these kind of uneven lines. Just kind of dragging it. Like that. And I don't think I'm going to put the hairs in the ears. I think I'm just going to let that happen there. I'm liking that. So pulling down some. Genevieve's getting her camera out here. If you hear little noises, she's preparing her camera for action, I think. Okay, a little bit of Unbleached Titanium there. Let's add a little bit more right here. Now here's where we're just going to start kind of layering over the top of these colors that we've already got. And this will just kind of add that last little bit of interesting finishing touches. And I do want to work on the eye a little bit as well, but I'm going to save that for last. So be kind of our last little finishing bit on this. Let's add a little bit of that phthalo green to the horse since we have it down here. So I've mixed in the Unbleached Titanium, and let's add a little bit of it on our horse body right here. Just very little paint on my brush. See how very much I have there on my brush. Just kind of dragging it and grab some burnt umber. Mix that in with that green. Add it right in here. Okay, and then, okay, he's cute. I like it. This is the point where I start getting excited because it's like, yeah, it's happening. It's starting to come together. Yay. Let's put a little bit of that green on his nose right there. Okay, he's pretty special looking. I'm going to grab some of that green and mix some burnt sienna. And we'll put some of that in our hair. Now at this point our hair should be completely solid, like we shouldn't have any of the background showing. You know, we kind of have been layering slowly, but we should have all that background color covered at this point. And I'm going to put a little shadow right there where that ear and the top of the head meets. Just a little bit right there. What time is it?
So people in chat are really loving it.
Oh, good.
And several have asked, okay, so how do you decide on the different color changes?
You know, I'm just kind of looking at my reference photo and seeing where those, you know, the value changes are, and then thinking about, you know, I need a dark color. So do I, you know, if I want to do a dark color over on this side where I wanted it to be kind of more of a cool colored side, so I might mix a blue instead of using a dark brown. So I'm going to use my Phthalo blue here mixed with the, I actually want a little bit more like straight up Phthalo blue mixed with that. It's going to be kind of a teal, maybe a little bit of the Unbleached Titanium to cut the color just slightly. I don't want it super dark. There we go. But that's really what I'm thinking. I'm like, you know, let's put some of that color down here. Ooh, that's pretty. You know, I want to shadow it, but I don't necessarily want to use blue or brown everywhere. So I'm going to, you know, pull this blue in maybe instead in some places where I might use brown. Just gives it a more interesting look to me, you know, to kind of use unusual colors sometimes. Let's switch to a little bit smaller brush now so we can get a little bit more controlled highlights. And grab my white. And I'm still seeing some, let's grab some burnt sienna here. Mix that with my white. I'm going to use that in here on his muzzle and go over the top of that blaze a little bit. Maybe a little bit darker. There we go. And I'm also thinking about the colors that I've used in other places. So, you know, anytime I've used a color in my background, I like to use it again in my subject, even if it's not a color that I'm seeing in my subject. I try to find a place where it would make sense to add it, just because it always adds like a little extra layer of detail and unity in your painting. Okay, burnt sienna, or burnt umber and ultramarine blue here. Yes, we got a super chat. What? Yay!
Super chat. Nice. Special guest bell ringer.
Love it.
This one's from Deb, and she says, "Thanks for the horse tutorial."
You are welcome, Deb.
And thank you for your kind donation. We really appreciate that.
We do. I'm just going to repeat whatever you say. Just say we do.
You too.
You too. Thank you, Deb. All right. I pulled this out and was thinking, I don't remember where I was going to use it now. I'm just going to start using it in some random places until I figure it out. I think I was going to use it in the middle of his nose. Let's grab some white. This is my gray color again. And yeah, there we go. I want to bring that color down a little bit lower. Small choppy brush strokes. And really I'm just kind of following the line of the way the nap of the fur lays, or, you know, is it hair or fur on a horse? I don't know. But trying to, there we go, blending over the top. And small brush strokes to kind of add sort of painterly effect. So, and you can see how they, like, how that using that palette knife creates these kind of really interesting shapes. I'm going to use it again with this color and try to do some on the nose here, see if I can get it to do some kind of shapes for me. There we go. Sometimes I will put it on another object, like a piece of plastic, which I don't have any handy right now. Can you find me a piece of plastic, like a Ziploc baggie or something, hun? There, it's up in my cabinet right there. I wanted to show this technique. Let's add some down here in the nose. Yeah, thank you. So when I want to do something kind of random, but I don't, maybe don't want to use a palette knife or want to be a little bit more controlled about the placement, what I can do is use a plastic baggie. Let's grab some gray here. Add a little bit of water to it just so that it kind of comes off the bag a little bit more easily. And I'm just going to paint a little small section. Ooh, I got a little purple in there. That's okay. And then I can lay it down. And see how it kind of creates this really uneven, weird, textured shapes. It's like a transfer almost. It really is a transfer, I guess. That's fine. Okay, so we'll do that. That's good. I'm going to use some of this kind of purpley dark color over here. That is a technical term for it, purpley dark color. It was a little bit of that gray, and I grabbed a little bit purple on my brush here by accident, but I like it. Just adding it a few more places. Let's add it down here. Let's grab a little bit more of that purple. Add it down here in his nose. Grabbing some burnt umber and unbleached titanium here. And it's mixing with some of that blue that was in there already, so it's kind of creating a gray. And I'm noticing up here, it's not quite as light up here in my picture. So I'm going to try to tone that down just a little bit, right up under up the top of the head. The over the top of the eye has kind of a box shape. So we'll define that eye a little bit right there. And a little bit underneath the eye. A little bit more of that brown. Maybe some phthalo blue. Tap, tap, tap. Small taps. Now we're really getting down into some a little bit more strategery here. Trying to really kind of start thinking about, you know, finishing it up and where we want to put these finishing touches. Okay. I'm liking, he's all kinds of multicolors, isn't he? I feel he still needs some work in here, so I want to create that kind of star shape in his blaze there. So I'll grab Ultramarine Blue and some white here, and some of that unbleached titanium. Create that soft blue, and I still had a little bit of brown on my brush, so and I've got the I've got the okay, there we go. Oh, this is starting to dry under here, so it's lifting a little bit, so I'm having to really be careful about where I touch it. Just using the very corner of this brush to try to kind of gently draw some little lines in my horse's forehead there.
Somebody had a question. Oh, okay. Can they use a sponge to get some of the same effects that they were?
Yeah, okay. A sponge would work really good. Grab some brown again. Add some brown back in. If I add, if you take too much of the brown off, you can add it back in. It's kind of just a back and forth with this kind of thing, just until you kind of get it to where you like it. So, as soon as you kind of like it, and I'm kind of getting there with this one, you can stop. So I kind of like that. I think I want to add a little bit of this lighter color along the sides here to that nose. Maybe a little highlight right there. And then I'm going to use it on the nose as well and just kind of turn and create a little highlight on either side of the nostrils. A little bit of brighter highlight sort of at the bottom of the lip. Kind of soft. That I don't really like that, so I'm going to blend that in. I'll grab a little bit of brown. Go over the top of that just a little bit. There we go. Better. The nice thing about acrylics is if you do something, a lot of times this is not like a science, it's a process. I don't start out a painting thinking I know exactly how this is going to go. I know exactly what colors I'm going to use and where. I only know that if I've already painted it before, But these ones, this one I haven't painted before, so I'm just working it out as I go. You're along for the ride. Seeing that process of just kind of experimentation. A lot of it is experimenting with colors and shapes and just trying to get it to, where I like it. There's not really any special formula to it. It's just kind of a process of kind of playing with the paint until putting a highlight here on this one until it's where I like it. So getting some brown here, working that back in.
Okay, Susan wants to know, how did you get the golden hues up on the top?
That was yellow oxide and burnt sienna, I think, and maybe a little cad red too. Yeah, is that right? You were paying attention.
Well, somebody was
Mark
paying
wasn't
attention.
paying attention. He never does.
And neither was, I'm going to call her out here. Hold on.
You can get some green here. Put that down here. Don't embarrass the fans, honey.
Oh, no, they want to know, how did you choose them? Not how did you get them, so I read it wrong, so that's all on me. I won't call out the person. Because obviously I can't read or spell.
We already knew that.
Or pay attention.
Let's get some yellow oxide here. It's mixing with this green color. What were you saying? I don't even know what the question was.
How did you decide on those golden hues?
Well, I looked at the colors in the sky. I wanted a little bit. It was so white, and actually in the printout, it's a little bit more kind of gold. Like you can see the kind of reddish tones right here, and then this is kind of yellow up here. This was like kind of a blue-gray, and then the green's down here. So I brightened them up a little bit, but I pretty much used the reference photo, just kind of punched up the colors a little bit. All right, now for the fun part on our mane of the horse, I'm gonna grab my white and let's see what color that is. Let's use a little bit of this orangey color that we mixed before. This was Cad Red this was Quinacridone Magenta and yellow, cadmium yellow. I've got a lot of green on my brush. I'm going to brush that out. Cadmium yellow, Quinacridone Magenta. Very pretty. And then white here. A little bit more yellow. I want it to be kind of a golden color. There we go. And I want it fairly light, so I'm kind of adding a lot of white to it here. It's picking up some green. Keeps doing that. I'm wiping off the extra on my paper towel. And I'm going to use it. Whoops. Whoa. It's coming off very thick here. I didn't push down my brush very well. Press it flat. So I got a kind of a thick end on it right there. I'm going to define this curve. Kind of curves down and over. I'm adding this golden color to the ends of the hairs. I might be catching the light a little bit. Let's do a little bit on there. There we go. And then let's put a little bit on the muzzle on this side. All right. If you get it too bright, and you know, it's pretty bright here, I'm going to go ahead and grab some burnt sienna and mix a little bit of that in. And just kind of go over the top of it a little bit. Blend that in a little bit. Tone it down. Just add a little bit to the ear. When I introduce a new color, I usually add it other places. That way it doesn't look so, you know, unexpected or out of place. So adding some of that burnt sienna down here in the mane. If you wanted to go like more normal, you can just do brown and burnt sienna, burnt umber, black, and mix your white with them. Maybe a little bit of mix a little bit of your yellows. So you don't have to add the blues to them if it bothers you. I'm going to add back in some burnt umber here. I'm going to grab some black and add that to that burnt umber. I'm going to lay in some hairs and set it down. I've got a really flat edge here. I'm setting it down on its edge and I'm drawing with that edge. That's what creates those fine lines. Let's grab some yellow here. I'm going to add some yellow around the blaze. Yellow oxide right in here. Just a little bit, the small lines. All right, grabbing that yellow color that I used up there. I'm using a little bit more white here. I'm going to add some white tips, just to a few of them.
Okay, what's your feeling on the level of difficulty for this?
I say probably a 2.5, 3, something like that. It's not particularly difficult. It's just got a lot of brush strokes. So, you know, it's just, it's not like the shapes are not that hard. It's just kind of, you know, paying attention to where they go. There's a lot of brush strokes. So there's a lot to follow, maybe, you know.
Looks like a lot of layers also.
Yeah, a lot of layers. That's it.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not particularly difficult, I don't think, but
And what if you really,
you know, if you're working with, like I think of, you know, if it would be easy for a child to do, and this one would, you know, be maybe a little bit more difficult because, you know, it does have so many layers. So what were you saying?
well, what if like I can't draw
Right here.
for beans?
Can
you help me out?
I've got a trace. I do. I can, honey.
And how could you help me out?
I have traceables on Patreon. For $1 a month, you can get traceables. Yep. It's patreon.com/AngelaFineArt. And
links down below.
Links down below, yep. Adding white here. Just add a little bit on in here. Just very light touches. Light dabs. I think that's too bright over there. I don't want to draw attention to this area, so I'm going to tone that back down, I think. Maybe grab some burnt sienna here. That's unbleached titanium that I was using before. Burnt sienna here. These are just the last little bits, just adding a little bit more of that brown. Not too bad. We've been about an hour here. Maybe add a little bit of this burnt sienna down here on the neck. A little bit more of it in the hair. If you're having trouble doing these lines with the flat brush, you can use a round brush just to add a little bit of extra water, because the line it'll be a lot easier to create lines if you're with a liner brush or a round brush if your paint's a little bit wetter, more wet. Adding highlights up there. Grabbing a little bit more white and adding a little bit more right there. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. I covered over his nostril a little bit right there, so I think I want to try to fix that. And I'm going to switch to a little bit smaller brush here. Let's grab the number 2 flat, bright, I should say, not flat. And grab that black there, and I'm gonna put that nose back in there. There we go. Okay, let's use that black to outline my eye. So I'm gonna create that. It's like a slight curve, like a semicircle right there. And then it comes out into the body. So I'm just kind of pulling out and doing just like I did with my hairs to create these lashes that kind of come out like that. Yeah, why don't you zoom in on this part? Be easier to see what I'm doing with the eye. It's an important detail. Okay, then on the bottom there's a curve this way. So I did the curve this way. Then the lashes that kind of come straight out over the top. And then there's a curve this way that comes in, and the eye is this oval shape right here. So I'm going to grab the burnt sienna, mix that with my black a little bit. Put that color in there. There we go. And I want to make sure that this area here is dark. So I'm going to go back in and darken that back up right there. Make sure it's got a lid that's coming out like that. There we go. Then there's a pupil that's right here, and the horse's pupil are really weird shape. They're kind of a flat line like that. And I'm going to grab some white here. Mix a little bit of that with that burnt sienna. Wipe most of it off. I'm going to put a little line on just underneath, right there. A little line on this side, curving around. I need to switch to a little bit smaller brush. And get some of that burnt sienna, and I'm going to blend that in right there. Okay, so it's got a little bit brighter. Grab even a little bit of yellow oxide. Maybe add a little bit of that underneath here to create a little glow in the eye. And then I want to grab some of the white and just a tiny, tiny bit of some blue. Maybe a little bit of that phthalo blue there with some white. Okay. Right like that. Dab, and then I kind of just dragged it and lifted to kind of create that highlight toward the outside of the eye. Okay. And then I want to use some of this color up in here to create the eyelid area. And maybe a little bit underneath the cheek and out. Right there. Highlight that. Let's put some of that blue in right there too. Okay, you can zoom out now, hon. There we go. All right, and then I think I want to blend this in, so I'm going to grab a little bit of that burnt umber, ultramarine blue gray color, and pull up over. Just going to blend in that eye socket. I'm going to outline the eye just slightly right there, so there's a better defined line between those two areas. There we go. What do you think? Do you see anything that I've left out? The audience usually sees stuff that I miss.
No, they're complaining that the horse has better eyelashes than they do.
Horses do have pretty eyelashes, I have to say. You're right. I'm going to grab some white, some of this light highlight color and highlight those lashes, actually. They do have pretty eyelashes. And then I'm going to grab some white, just some bright, bright white. Do one last little super bright white highlight in the eye. Just right out here. Right there. Okay. Grabbing some yellow oxide here. Do some streaks with that. What do you think, Genevieve? Are we done? You see anything you want to add?
No.
No?
Yeah, people are coming out with the puns now, so you may want to.
Oh no. Do we need to get off the air fast?
Unless, stick man. But
Okay, we need stickman. Okay. Yes, we'll do that. Adding some more yellow here. Just feel like it needed a little bit more yellow. golden color in the hair there.
So I'm kind of combining two puns to complete it here. So it's maybe she's barn with it. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Mabel? What?
Maybelline.
Maybelline?
Yeah, maybe she's barn with it. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Maybelline? Oh, Maybelline. Oh, God. That's really bad. Shame on you. All right. Grabbing that gray and the unbleached titanium. I want a little bit more highlight on this little guy right there. That little bit. Okay, I'm just looking. I feel like I'm missing something, so because it usually will come to me as soon as I finish. All right. There, looks good.
So no piercings or anything?
No, he's good.
Okay, just want to make sure. I mean, with the colored hair, just wasn't sure.
Add some hair coming off the side here. No, you're silly. He does. He's looking straight at you and he's giving you a stare down. And you're like, what are you looking at? All right, I think I want to just wash. I think that'll be good. I'm going to take the burnt umber and I'm going to...
Yeah, you need to step it up because...
What?
Because somebody reminded us that it's Oak Island coming up pretty soon.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Are they finding the treasure tonight? Don't tell me. You've seen it already. Okay. Got watered down burnt umber here. And I'm going to add it over the top. Just in a few places. And what that'll do, it creates that color on color glaze layering that it just, I don't know, it creates a depth of color that you can't really get any other way. So it's really great, especially if you like added highlights. Like up in here in my photograph, it's pretty dark. You know, the only highlight area is up in here. So I'm going to just tone down this area a little bit. It's still got all these colors in it. You'll still be able to see them. This brown will just kind of tone it all down a little bit. And you don't want it on too dark, you know, so don't do it too thickly. You need to have quite a bit of water or some glazing liquid or something like that and mixed in with your paint. And it will just create this kind of nice, and it also will blend in any of these hairs that maybe look like they're kind of sticking out in a weird place or just don't meet up with the other colors, you know. It'll kind of blend it all together. It's a great little finishing. I'm going to put it right up next to the face too, to darken up that area beside his cheek. Don't use a lot of paint. I'm just going to quickly glazing over. You can use your finger as well if you want to blend it in. That can help. And I'm going to use a little bit on the face right here. You can even use it on that little center part if you think it got too dark, too bright. There we go. All right, this is making me happy now. I'm happy now. We can stop. Yeah, all right. I'm going to call that good. Do we need to splatter? I don't know. I don't think so. Well, I think on this one, I think
somebody said that it may look like flies.
Yeah, I think we're okay with this one.
We might not want to splatter.
We'll call it good.
If you need to splatter, you got Stickman, you can splatter.
We can splatter on stick man. Okay. Good plan, hun. Thanks. All right, so here's stick man.
Oh, and Beth says that she's chomping at the bit to try this one.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, yeah, the puns are flowing in chat.
It's bad. Okay. So we'll just, I guess we'll give him a little horsey friend sticking out right here. Little face, little horsey face.
I'm zooming in tight for this.
Oh, don't, please.
Oh, it's there. It's going to become your thumbnail, I think.
It's going to be like our little horsey friend. Where's his ear going to be? Up here, I guess. I didn't really think this through very well.
Yeah, don't overthink it. I think that's good enough.
Okay, well, he needs an eye. So it can be somewhere in here, I guess. And then he needs some hair, so we'll give him some hair out. Some mane. It's not hair. There we go. Little nose. There's a little horsey.
And
I think Genevieve probably could have done better than that. I know she could have done better than that. All right, I'm going to sign it and call it good. Thanks, guys, so much for watching today. We really appreciate you sticking with us in another Tuesday night. And hope you have a great rest of your week. And we will be back on Saturday night for another, or Saturday day, regular time this time, 2 o'clock, for another live show. So I want some more dark in here. Just one more.
Well, of course you do.
I'm sorry. I just realized.
I mean, I'm on top of things. I'm ready for the transitions, and you gone back on me.
No, I'm doing a little bit of black right in here. Okay. We're good. All right, I'm good now. I feel better. We're done for real this time. Okay. Thanks, guys. Say goodbye, Genevieve.
Goodbye.
Thanks.
Like, subscribe, thumbs up.
Oh, yes. Thumbs up.
And all that.
And share it on my Facebook.
Oh, great.
pages.
She just reached for the brush again. Here we go. I should have just let... Oh,
I
in
just
the
said it on my paint. All right, I'm just grabbing the light color. I'm going to pull it back up there. Okay. I could work on this for another hour. I seriously could, but I'm not going to. I'm done. I'm done.
Okay.
For real.
All right.
Bye, guys.